as I have matured in my preaching ministry from the time that I was a young preacher who used to love to just rant and rave, and I was a fireball. But something happened along the way. I came to the reality that people really weren't hearing what I'm saying, and so I decided to change my focus, and my focus began to be that which would cause me to effectively be able to communicate with the people that I'm ministering to. And along the way, I began to realize something else. And that was how important it is that people become aware of their own spirituality. Because what happens so much in preaching is we find ourselves telling people, don't do this, don't do that. And I call it the do's and the don'ts. We preach in the do's and the don'ts. But my conclusion has been that if people truly become spiritually aware, which I declare is the true born-again experience, when spiritual eyes become open and they begin to comprehend that they are spiritual, God is spiritual, and they begin to walk in that spiritual awareness, I believe that God begins to take care of the do's and the don'ts. Through the conviction of the Holy Spirit, as God begins to speak those things that would be displeasing to Him. Now, I say all of that to say this, that if you need a list of the do's and the don'ts, then we'll just go to 1 Peter chapter 4. Because in 1 Peter chapter 4, I find two lists here. And he describes it this way. List number 1, the lust of men. List number 2, the will of God. And the list that I've referred to here goes like this. Lasciviousness, lust, wine, which is drunkenness, revelings, banqueting, and abominable idolatries. Now, if I read that so fast that you didn't comprehend everything that he's saying, let me see if I can't deduce it down for you. Simply this. Lust of the flesh, in other words, following after lustly desires, would be on the list. Drinking alcoholic beverages to a place to where a person becomes out of control, which means that they could possibly harm themselves or someone else, that's on the list. Revelings, in other words, people who just love to just be rowdy for rowdy's sake, and with no thought to how it might affect anybody else. I would equate that as just plain old selfishness. That would be on the list. Banquetings, in other words, gluttony, on the list. And of course, idolatry, idols, things that would hold a position in your life above a relationship with God. And you'd place such awareness of the fact that, I desire those things more than spirituality. That would be on the list. This is Pastor Jack King with the gospel on the radio broadcast.